podcasting now is in a position to really, really grow from where it is, but we need to really focus outside of what we've already been doing. So for me, the Spanish speaking market is really, really important, and also highlighting and advocating for women's voices, particularly women of color, is for me like front and center. So that's that's a huge, huge, huge thing for me.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is MILF Podcast, the show where we talk about motherhood, entrepreneurship, sexuality, and everything in between. I'm Jennifer Tracy, your host, and welcome back. I can't believe we're sailing through mid-January. Let's see. I am in New York this week, New York City, greatest city in the world. And I said that, and then I was like, well, but that leaves out Paris, London, a million other cities that are really amazing. But New York is really magical. Really, really love New York. I'm so grateful to spend time there, even though it's freezing. Happy to be back in LA. Have to say, as much as I can complain about LA, I do love my town. I love it. I really do love it. So speaking of LA, this week, one of the companies that I'm highlighting is called Loom. If you're in LA and you are a woman or you identify as a woman, this is something you should definitely check out. They are offering us a discount code of MILF20. Loom is a place, it's like a community for women. They have classes. I'm just going to read this description. Loom is a definitive LA-based health destination for periods, pregnancy, sex, fertility, menopause, and pregnancy-related experiences, including miscarriage and abortion and parenting within the first year. We teach body literacy through classes, support groups and events at our mid-city location in Los Angeles, and have a selection of talks with experts available to stream on demand. So anyway, yes, you can use that discount code online or to go into a class. And their website is thisisloom.com. So yeah, please head on over there, check out what they have to offer, and use the code MILF20 at checkout to get a discount. And it's a really incredible, and just also tool around on their website and see who they are, because these women are really badass. So that's Loom. And then the other company that I'm highlighting is called SoulKu, SoulKu. And their website is soulku.com. Again, all of this is on my website, milfpodcast.com. So if you're driving and you don't have time to write it down, or you can't remember, which I can never remember, someone will tell me something and I'll say, oh, I'm going to remember that. And I just can't remember, like names of movies, names of books, websites. So it's all there for you in the show notes. This company is really fascinating because it's built by women. And what it is it's gemstones, okay, that have meaning and healing capabilities, and they're made into jewelry, and they're made, here it says, I always end up doing this because they say it better than I do. They're mama made with love, and they're made in homes by moms. Okay. So it says on the card, I'm looking at these earrings. They're black onyx earrings, alleviates stress and worry, and anchors strength. Mama made with love by, and then it's signed by the woman that made it, infused with love, song, and prayer, handcrafted by moms in Asheville, North Carolina. They are offering us a 15% discount code of MILF15. If you go on their website, they have all kinds of necklaces and earrings. It's such a beautiful gift, and they're very affordable. And I just loved talking with these women on the phone when I told them I wanted to give them some free advertising and tell the world about their amazing company. So go check them out, soulku.com. And today's guest is Elsie Escobar. I have been trying to nail this woman down for an interview for over a year. I've chased her, and I finally got her. And she had to do it while she was in a mall while her child was in a class. But she did it anyway. And she did it so well. And she's a podcaster. She's brilliant. And we had so much fun in this conversation. So Elsie has an incredible background. She started out as an actor, and she actually studied at the Denver Center Theater, which I'm from Denver. So we talked about that for a little bit. And then she fell into, she became a yoga teacher. And the way that she started podcasting is so great. And she tells the story on this episode. And then now, I mean, she's like the podcasting queen. Like, this woman started something called She Podcasts. She's inspired thousands of female podcasters, male and female, but she inspires me. And she works for Libsyn, which is the leading podcast host and distribution network. And she's a mom and a wife, and she's just badass. So please enjoy this conversation. We had a lot of fun. We laughed a lot. She is funny and she's just whip smart. So enjoy my conversation with Elsie Escobar. Hi, Elsie.
Hi.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
You are so welcome.
This has been such a long time coming. I am such a fan of yours.
Oh my gosh. Oh, give me a break.
I am.
Oh, you're so kind. You're so kind.
But seriously, I mean, like, what you have done for women in podcasting is kind of unparalleled.
Aww.
Not kind of unparalleled. It is.
Aww.
It's true. And I mean, gosh, there's so many things. There's so many questions I want to ask you. But can we talk about the event that you just had?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. All right.
It was in August?
Okay.
No, September.
October.
When was it? October. Okay.
October. Oh my God. I don't even know. It's like I was
what
thinking
day
back.
it
I'm
is.
like, what? It was in October. It was early October. I have to look at my phone to make sure that was the case. Yes, it was at early October.
Okay.
So it was an event that I co-attended. I don't even want to say co-created because my partner she did it all. She's the one that did it. You know, she did all the things. She got everything together. She ran with it, right? And I was kicking and screaming to do it. But let me tell you the story in terms of the Kickstarter campaign. So one of the reasons that she decided to do a Kickstarter for this event. It was a women's podcasting event. It was literally our community in the Facebook group had always been asking for somebody to do this event, right? To do like, oh my gosh, it would be so great if, you hear that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it would be so great if we just did this, right?
And you're like, oh, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, but sure, we'll just throw it together.
Right. Yeah. No, but the other thing is when usually that happens and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, guys, we did it. Here it is. And everybody's like, oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
And nobody comes. So Jess was like, y'all are going to have to put up. You know what I mean? If you want this to happen, you have to put up. So we had a goal of $25,000 and it was really scary. I mean, I was so scared, dude. Just to put something like that out was like, you're just so scared. It's like, is anybody going to do anything?
Yeah.
And then, every time some money came in, we were like, oh my God, yay. We were so excited. And then it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I was like, what the? So we ended up funding it like 200%. So we made $50,000 with that Kickstarter. And that was like, what? That's insane.
Yeah.
And people were so excited. And I think that's what it was to me, seeing the community be so excited about it and thinking and everybody was going, we did it. Yeah. And that just filled me with chills. Like, that it was this collective desire for this to happen. Right. So Jess kind of went along with it. I'm supporting all of the things, but I said to her, this is not my zone of genius. I'm not an event planner. I don't like parties. Like I don't, I'm just not that person, I don't care what color the napkins are. Like that's the kind of stuff no, not at all. And she loves it. She just loves it to death. So this really gave her everything. And I just go, you go do that. You go do that. And then I came in whenever something was a little where I felt, to me, everything is about mission and vision. and values. That's me. I am all about the bigger picture. So anytime I saw anything that was a slightly like, I don't know if that's the word, or that's not feeling like it's on mission, that's when I would come in. Like I would just do that kind of stuff. But she did all of the other things. And, but so we ended up like having it be, I think, the third largest podcasting conference in the United States.
That's
out
amazing.
of the gate.
Oh
which is
my
crazy.
God. That's incredibly on your first try.
On our first try.
That's
oh my
so
God.
cool.
It was
Congratulations.
crazy. Thank
very,
you so
very
much.
cool. I really had wanted to go with Sarah, my producer, but we just couldn't make it happen. But the next one, we're definitely coming.
Oh my God.
No matter what.
I'm still processing. I haven't posted anything online about it because it really is quite, I don't think I've ever gone through anything like that before. So I'm still processing it. Like it's been like a month and a half and I'm still sort of like,
Yeah. Because it was big.
Because it was big.
Yeah.
I think it was big in not necessarily even just it was a big conference, but big as in like, I think this is the biggest thing we've ever done.
Yeah. Impactful. It was impactful.
Yes. Yeah. Impactful. And also, I think the other thing was the responsibility that you have to so many people who are also investing. It's not cheap to attend conferences, even if it's a free conference, if you are attending it, maybe even locally, maybe that could like save you some money or something, but you're still spending money on food. You're still spending money on transportation.
Yeah.
So there is a level of investment, and the majority of these people, obviously women, and a lot of these women are moms.
Yeah.
And as you know, most of us are like the center of the universe.
Yes.
For our families.
Yes.
So whenever we leave, it's like the orbit is askew, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of deal making that has to happen for everybody's families.
Yes.
For all of us to go.
It's a huge negotiation. How did you get into podcasting originally?
Oh my gosh. I got into podcasting because I needed a creative outlet in a way. Imagine this. I was working as an actor in Hollywood.
Been there, girl.
Oh my God. No, so I have a theater background and that's my thing. Like that's theater was what I loved. And so I got my MFA and was doing all that stuff. And then I made a life choice. I had my choice of going to LA or New York, of course, when I graduated, because I was in Denver, Colorado, going to school there. And I had my choice. Everything was laid out for me. Like I was one of those very lucky people who was picked up very early. And so I had management and I had agents and all of that stuff before even moving in both coasts.
Wow.
So I was just like, I'm going to choose LA because my family's in LA and I was in a relationship at that time that took me to LA. So I was like, I'll just do that instead of going to New York, which is where I actually wanted to go. And I was not skilled for that. I was not, like grad school was I think everybody needs to go to grad school. Like every human, it was the most incredible growing experience. But, and as an artist, it was phenomenal. I would do that over and over and over again. Like it was just the best part of my life. But then moving to LA was something that grad school didn't teach me, which was you now have to do the business of it. And I wasn't taught the business of it. And I resisted the business of it because I'm an artist, for gosh's sake.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I already did all this stuff. You should hire me because I'm amazing.
Yeah.
Versus me trying to like be the hot Latina. You know what I mean? Nobody ever put me in a box like that when I was in school. So that was hard. And so it really made me sad. And it was possibly I was the most depressed I've ever been in my life. And I was like.
And you were what, 24?
27.
Okay.
I got there when I was 27, but still, I think I was 27.
Yeah, baby.
I was 27.
Yeah.
So I was really depressed and I was sleeping till noon because I was, waiting tables till 2:30 in the morning and doing all that stuff and all the crap, right?
Yeah.
All the things. And so I decided to kind of stop and I started to teach yoga because that's the other aspect, right? You're either waiting tables or teaching yoga.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's true. It's true.
That's the
it's
only
so
thing
true.
you can do for sanity's sake. And so in the process, I received an iPod, one of those 5th generations with a little, the little
Clip.
video thing on it.
Oh, okay. Right.
Right. And at that time, I didn't And I think that this was the key. At that time, I didn't have any of my music digitized. So because I didn't have any of my music digitized, I had this device that played music and I couldn't hear anything. I don't know, what was I going to listen to? So I went inside iTunes, and iTunes 4.9 had just come out, and it just had added podcasts. And I was like, what the heck are these things? And there were 5 podcasts. I'm just kidding. But there was really small amount of things that were in there.
Like maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, cool. I can do so my brain exploded because I thought I downloaded an anatomy course from a university there. Harvard University had this computer 101 class. And I had just I was super illiterate when it came to computers. And I also felt a little bit of shame around that. So I thought, oh my gosh, I can learn this computer stuff in my ears and nobody knows. And, and then as I was listening to that computer 101 class, there was a segment from another podcast called The Typical PC User. And his voice was really cool. And I was like, what is that? Who is this dude? And he has a podcast too. I want to listen to that. And I started listening to him, and he became my podcasting guru, Yoda person. And he helped me kind of get myself set up, because he said, if you have any questions, email me. And he was do that stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll email him.
Yeah.
And we became friends, and I kind of entered the scene that way and was obsessed with any kind of independent podcast. I didn't have any dreams or desires to be the next NPR person, but I conceived a show in my head, and I thought this is the perfect way for me to express myself creatively.
Yeah.
And do the, not acting stuff, but I was always used to being doing stuff.
Express yourself. Put yourself out there. Yeah.
And so I thought, this is great. It's just my voice.
Yeah.
And I think that I really did that because I was very, Hollywood is so visually stimulating for everybody. And everybody's so, I just felt so not seen because people were putting me in a specific thing. I was the hot Latina chick. The end.
Yeah.
And I didn't even fit that role because I happen to have green eyes. So that went a lot off with everybody. And you're too pretty to be the lead, And it was I always heard that. And it was I was so upset that I had no control over any of that stuff. Yeah. And I thought, okay, getting behind the mic will remove the way that I look, and people will actually listen to what I have to say. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah. Well, and it's so gratifying because it's you can really use your mind in a way that, because I had a very similar trajectory to you. I graduated from college. I didn't get my MFA. I applied to that program in Denver. I didn't get in, but I'm from Denver. I love that program.
Oh, you are? You did the National Theater Conservatory?
Yeah, it's incredible. I wish I could have gotten in. It's one of the best. It's one of the top 5 in the country.
I know.
I can't believe you did it.
It's gone. It's gone.
Oh, it's gone. Is it gone?
It's gone. I was so sad. We all broke. My heart is absolutely broken. I literally cried for almost a week.
They didn't have funding or what?
They didn't have funding because it was nobody paid for that. It was chartered by Congress.
Right.
It was chartered by Congress. It was the only MFA program in the nation chartered by Congress. And they didn't have the funding, and none of us paid. They paid us.
I mean, I grew up going to all those shows in that space.
At the Denver Center.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, the Denver Center is my heart.
I grew up going to those, and as a little girl in those seats, that's where I decided I want to do that. And I started taking acting as a child.
That's
I so get it. I can smell that theater. I remember. Anyway, that's so interesting that we share that connection. But I came similarly. I was 23. I was a day 23, moved out here. And I had been acting professionally since I was a kid in Denver, just small market stuff. And so I kind of was a little bit hot-headed about it. And I had such a similar thing. I mean, I'm, almost 6 feet tall, blonde, green eyes also. And they just were like, well, you're too tall. I'm like, too tall? And I would name off all these other tall actresses. Well, yeah, but it's just, I couldn't fit in a box for them. I couldn't fit in a box. And it was so frustrating. And so I got work commercially, which was fine and it paid my bills, but it wasn't gratifying in that way of like doing theater. And so I ended up doing I ended up going to this amazing improv theater, which is now closed. And I did improv and sketch comedy for 11 years, and it didn't pay me a dime, but it was so much more gratifying than auditioning. Right. It's like, I was either like the sex pot, girlfriend, or, it's just so not me,
Right.
I mean, I can play that, but it's like, God.
I know. And see, that's what it was. It's like, I just kept thinking, I'm like, I can play that, but it's like, there's so many other layers to this than this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I think back then too, there weren't as many women's roles. Now it's a little better. It's still dominated by men's roles, but, and yeah, for, a woman of color or a Latina woman, I mean, my good friend and my neighbor is Japanese American, and she's a very successful actress. And she has always said, she's like, I will not read if it's in the breakdown that they want an Asian woman. She's like, I won't go out for it deliberately. She only goes out for roles that do not specify that. And she works all the time.
I love that. And I should have, and that's the other thing. Absolutely. That I like now, like, let's pretend I'm going back. Let's pretend like I'm going to go back. Oh my God. I have so much more confidence,
right? If we knew then what we know now.
Yeah. And to be able to put myself out there in this way with the podcast and all this stuff. Anyway, there's so many things that I would have taught myself but by then, but I didn't know how to stand up for myself. And when the times that I did stand up for myself, my managers and my agents would literally come back and say like, you
can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah. Or like, you need to take whatever you can get and you have zero power. And I was like, what? So I'm not necessarily like, I never told anybody the movies that I did, the stuff that I did that, because I was not proud of it. I was kind of like, I did that.
Yeah. It just, for me, same. Yeah. I totally get it. So what was your first podcast?
That I did?
Yeah.
Elsie's yoga class is what it's called.
Okay.
And so I decided to test out the tech first. I had to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
Before I did my show, and I'm using quotation marks right now, because I had a concept.
Okay.
That I wanted to do like all of these. It was kind of be like one of those sort of like morning radio shows with like all these segments and like transitions, and we're going to talk about all this stuff. Anyway, that was what I thought I was going to do. Yeah. But I needed to figure out how to do it first, because I was like, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. So in order for me to do it, I was working full time as a yoga teacher. I was teaching about 13 public classes at that time, plus my privates. It's a lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so I didn't have any extra time to do all the learning. So I thought, okay, what can I do that will help me record, edit, upload, like do all the things I'm supposed to without adding too much to my workload? And I thought, I'm just going to record my yoga classes because I'm doing 13 of them every week. Repurposing, totally. And I have had people, my students at that time would always come up to me and go like, we really want to take you with us. We were going to go to the, vacation. It would be so great. And I was like, maybe I can, like, I thought offhand I could record a class and give it to you guys, Yeah. And then I thought, I'll just do this podcasting thing and people can download it. And it was just like a test. Yeah. And because I started that was in July 2006. So that was like the woman who was doing the yoga classes on podcasting. Like there was like no other people doing this. There was like a yoga, it was some thing called Yoga Peeps, I think, or something like that, where it was like interviews with yogi people. There was like a dude like Dave, somebody other who also had classes like I did. And there was this other dude doing Yoga Amazing who was a video dude. He was like Chaz, was doing video classes, 20-minute video classes. And so I was like the first female yoga teacher that was doing audio classes at that time. So I got a lot of recognition given the space. Now, mind you, remember, this is like, 5 people who are, And so it was like, oh, it's the yoga girl. So I was known as a yoga girl.
Yeah.
And iTunes at that time gave me a lot of features because, again, I was the yoga girl.
Yeah.
So I was always there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I started. It really took off. People started to know me in the podcasting, and not in the podcasting community, yes, and also in the yoga community. I remember I was going to, learn from my teacher, and I would go to conferences or like those big trainings that they have, yoga trainings in different states and all that stuff. And I would go and I would be checking in, talking, and I would go, oh, are you Elsie? And I was like, yes, it's me. And I was recognized like in the United States just with my voice. That was freaky and weird. And I think it's just obviously that community was very small. The yoga teachers at that time or yoga students that were listening to podcasts at that time, that wasn't really a thing. Now it's so much more a thing. But so that was my first.
And how long did you do that podcast for?
I did it till 2013.
Oh, wow. A long time.
Yes, but I also only published a little bit over 100 episodes because I was doing like a weekly thing, and then my life changed, and then I left LA and moved somewhere else, and so I didn't have any public classes. So the whole premise was me recording my public classes.
Sure.
And then I didn't have any public classes.
Sure.
And so then it was like, oh, what am I going to do? So I just kind of dropped it. Then I had to build on it. Then it just became crazy. And then I got pregnant. And so there it all went.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you get pregnant.
Yes.
And scene.
Scene. Exactly.
New scene.
Scene. Yeah.
So you got pregnant and you have two children?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're how old now?
They are just turned 8 and just turned 11.
Oh.
Yes.
So
my
fun.
babies.
My guy's 10. It's a wild ride.
Yes, it is.
So you got pregnant, and did that precipitate was that the impetus for the move out of LA?
No, actually, the move from LA was just I was over it all, and I was leaving I was really in transition. I was in a really toxic relationship at that time that I'd been in a long time, and I just was really ready to kind of let it go.
Yeah.
In the process of me exiting, I mean, it was very dramatic. It was a very, very dramatic time. I also started. I didn't hook up because that's not what it was, because it was online. So I started to converse and have a relationship with my now partner online because we never met each other. And things aligned themselves where I ended up doing a show after not being on stage for almost a decade. I had one of my directors that I went to grad school with. He called me up literally and was like, hey, you want to be in the show? We start in a couple of weeks.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, what? Sure.
Yeah.
So then I went to Arizona, and then I ended up moving to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I just picked up and left, and sight unseen kind of thing, followed my heart, and ended up with a lovely life with a family and children. So,
and that you had your children after that, or before you moved? Okay,
no,
after that.
Yeah,
got it. Wow, I love that. And you're now in North Carolina? No,
yes,
what? You are in North Carolina. Okay,
yeah.
I love North Carolina. My mom's from Asheville.
That's where I live, ish.
Yeah,
that's where I live, ish. Yes,
so
I know, because it's like we come into it. That's where I am right now, in Asheville, as you're speaking to me.
That's so great. So great. So, okay. So from there, so you have kids, and did that become your sole focus? Were you working after the kids were born? Were you podcasting at all?
I tried to podcast, but alas, I was podcasting as, yoga podcasting. And that I felt like that is in itself very energetically, I felt that I needed to really respect the people who were listening, and I had to be really on. You can't fake that, man.
Yeah.
You just can't fake any of that stuff. Podcasting is so hard to fake. I'm telling you.
So true. It's so true.
God. 'Cause even if it's your voice, it's like, oh my God, so I can't do it. I can't be like, yeah, everybody, sit up tall, close your eyes. I was dying, so there's no way I could have done that. It would have been a lie.
Yeah.
So eventually I stopped just because I was exhausted as all get out. And interestingly enough, I had a job when I moved there, like a job. This was my very, 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 very first job. And I was at that job, like 9 to 5. I had my baby girl, and I know this is going to sound horrible, but I had my baby girl And as I was in my maternity leave, I was laid off.
Oh.
So, yeah, dude, it sucked. But alas, though, that was the first time I've ever been able to get unemployment because I actually had a job.
Yes.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. So in looking back, I was just thinking about that when I was, we were coming into town today, and I was like, I was really lucky because I got an opportunity to get unemployment while I was just being a mom for the very first time. So for all that time, like I didn't have to go back to work. I mean, because I was getting a check. And not to say that that was, I mean, obviously it was not a lot at all, but it kept us to in a point where it was all right. It was just barely okay, but I was with my baby the entire time. And it would have been crazy for me to have to go back to work. She was a handful. It was really hard, really hard. So that's, yeah. So I essentially stopped doing everything. I stopped doing everything during that time. I could not. She demanded that from me as a mom.
Yeah. My son was like that too. And it was, yeah, it's exhausting, and it's just nothing can communicate to anybody how exhausting and depleting it is until they experience it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So then you had your second.
Yes.
And at what point did you sort of pick up and say, hey, I want to create something?
I want to do something back again. Well,
Yeah.
I think that yes, I've always been, and I know I don't, it's kind of weird because I've never really I mean, I am a mom, and I am a mom through and through, but I've never self-identified as a mom. And I've always been like, that's not what leads. I think my family leads for sure. The decisions we make at home are all based around our collective family, and me being present as a mother is, I mean, I am the sun, everything revolves around me. Like I'm the one that keeps everything. So I am in there, but I don't lead with that as who I am as a person. Like that's just not what it is. I've always had my own thing. I've always been incredibly independent and all this stuff. So there did come a point there while I was having my babies there that I was feeling incredibly, I don't even know what the word is. I don't think it was, maybe it is depressed, but it wasn't depressed in the...
Restless?
Could be restless.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure but I was really negative. And I think that the description isn't necessarily like clinical depression because it's not like I couldn't get out of bed kind of stuff. And I was like having these dark thoughts. Like it wasn't that. It was like a feeling of like, oh my God, I'm going to go nuts if I don't have space.
Yeah.
I need to get out of here. Like it was like, I was getting really like, I just wanted to punch things. Like, get off of me. Don't suck on my boobs anymore. Like, I just like, it was that, like, I just was like, oh.
I think I need a t-shirt that says, get off of me. Don't suck on my boobs anymore.
I'm serious.
I know.
It's just like, and I remember feeling like, so my body was responding in this way. And I thought, I need some creative. I've never not been creatively putting things out. I've always been an innovator. I've always been a creative person. I've always been enthusiastic about new stuff. I'm always getting, all of those things have been part of my DNA. I see patterns. I see the way things work. And I'm like, oh my God, that's going to be amazing. Like I'm constantly like doing that kind of stuff. I'm a tester. I'm a tinker. And this is in technology as much as it is in self-help type stuff, like knowing yourself deeply and all that.
Yeah.
And I realized like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
I need to get out. And I started to teach slightly more yoga classes. I reached out to the job that laid me off and I was like, you guys, do you have space? Like, what's up, y'all? I'm ready to come back if it's available. And I have thoughts. Because I can't stop because it's podcasting related stuff. And I was like, I just can't stop myself. The medium really it really inspires me. Yeah. And so I saw so many things that could be done better. And I came in with this attitude, and my boss, who is now still my boss, she was just like, let's do it. And I was like, okay. So I just kind of went into it. Right. Yeah. And I started to create things, and kind of that's where I've been, just constantly creating stuff is my thing.
That's so amazing. And you when did you start She Podcasts?
She Podcast came in 2014.
Okay.
So I think I stopped my Elsie's yoga class stopped in 2013, but in truth, I think it stopped before that as well. I mean, that was the last episode that I put out.
Right.
It was a Thanksgiving episode that year, but I think I put out maybe 2 episodes that one year and maybe 3 the year before. So it was like, it had been dead for a while. And in that same year, in 2013, I did finally push to get a show for Libsyn, which is the company that I work for. I finally was like, we need to have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I need to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one.
Yes.
So what will it take for me to be consistent? And then I outlined the schedule that I knew that I could commit to. So that was that. And it was working. So I was like, okay, I have a show. It's steady. This is great. I can manage it. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then 2014 came around and Jess and I had, Jessica actually that year, at the beginning of that year, started to do a show that was about, she was doing lady business radio, but then she also felt like that she couldn't talk to any other women podcasters out there because the other Facebook groups were all full of guys who didn't understand what the heck anybody was saying, and they were just too mansplainy. And sometimes we just wanted like a really easy question, like, what mic should I get? Just give me the mic instead of telling me all the things about what they all do and everything, because we don't know and we don't care.
Yeah.
So she created this Facebook group, and in the conversations in the Facebook group, the women were going, why isn't there a show about podcasting for women? And so we were like, oh, let's do it. Let's do it. You know, and we ended up like hooking up that way. And then because we created the show, it was her group, but then we decided to change the group's name to She Podcasts. And so that's where it came from.
That's so awesome. And now I don't even know, I didn't look before, I should have, but I don't know how many thousands of members there are.
There's like a lot. 14,000 plus.
That's incredible.
It's insane.
It's amazing.
I know. Jessica just sent me a text yesterday of, I guess she put a post up on November 20th, which was like yesterday.
Yeah.
And she put a post up and she said that on Facebook, she took a screenshot and she sent it to me. She was thanking people because we had 5,000 women in 2015.
Wow.
So in 2015, we had 5,000 women, and in 2019, we have over 14,000.
That's incredible
crazy.
Growth. That's amazing. Well, and it just shows you how much it's needed.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And the conference and how that will continue to grow. That's so exciting. So now you've been doing the show with Libsyn for how long?
So that show is since 2013. So it's been a while.
2013, right.
2013 is when I did the feed, and the feed has grown exponentially as well. I am just really, really like shocked at its size right now because it's a podcast about podcasting. That's like over usually around 90 minutes of like
podcast talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even I fall asleep. Sorry, Rob, my co-host. I'm like, usually he's talking and I'm like, for those of you who cannot see me, I am moving away from the microphone and closing my eyes. Especially when we talk about like really like stats and things like, not to say that doesn't interest me, but it's very, it's like information, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But people love it. They just, people really love info, you know, it's very dry. So it's like, it's not like a fun. And I'm like, sort of like the perky one that comes in and occasionally like stops the monotony.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But and then Jess and I have been podcasting since 2014. So it's been a very consistent voice. I've been a very consistent voice in 2 separate shows for that long, which is a long time.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And what's on the table for you? What's in the next, what's 2020 look like for you?
Oh gosh, 2020 is more. I think that my thing right now is the globalization of podcasting is really big on my plate, and I would say like Spanish speaking. I have another show that I launched that I wasn't ready to launch. Really, I just launched it. I was like, might as well do it, and I've only gotten 2 episodes out. So I'm like, it's just like I'll fix it. I'll do it when I'm ready, you know. But it's a Spanish speaking show about podcasting because I can't stop myself.
Yeah.
But because it really, I feel is needed, and we are very U.S. centric. Obviously, I mean, the U.S. tends to puts itself like everything is centered around how that works, and I feel that podcasting now is in a position to really, really grow from where it is, but we need to really focus outside of what we've already been doing. So for me, the Spanish speaking market is really, really important, and also highlighting and advocating for women's voices, particularly women of color, is for me, like front and center. So that's that's a huge, huge, huge thing for me.
Yes, that's exciting. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we've come to the time when I'm going to ask you 3 questions that I ask every guest, and then a fun lightning round of questions.
All right.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
What do you think about when you hear the word love?
Oh gosh, that it's really not what you think. Because I think our society has put love to be like that thing, like with all the fairy tales, where it's like you find the Prince Charming, and because of that narrative that our little girls are fed, I think constantly over and over in all these stories, that's what we grow up with. We want to have whatever this prince is, right? And that once you do that, everything is going to be taken care of, and sort of taking the seat of princess. And princesses usually need to be saved in some way. And I think that I really internalized that for myself, and thought that love was having somebody come and save me in this fashion. Yeah. Which is why I made the choices that I did when I was younger. And I didn't necessarily have agency enough to say, like, you know what, this isn't really working out, because I had made that decision. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying in terms of love, that it's not, I want to break that pattern for my girls as well. And also to help them understand that, love is incredible. And I love my partner right now to death. He is an incredible human being. He's so sweet and smart and solid and all of these wonderful things. And he's made me feel as I've never felt before, but it's still really hard. Yeah. Like it's very, very hard. Sometimes you just hate them. Yeah. You're just like, get out of my face. Yeah. I don't want to see you. Don't talk to me that way. Like even like
stop
just
sucking on my boobs.
Stop sucking on my boobs. I know. Like all of the things where it's just like, I don't, this is, yeah. Right. And so that's what it brings to me. It's a lot more than what we generally talk about. Is love is multi-layered in so many different ways. I just can't. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think that is something that I bought into. And my parents fed that to me as well, which it was, and part of their generation. I mean, my parents are in their 70s now. So it was like, you grow up, you marry a good man, and everything just is easy, and you bake pies and like, it's like, right. Wait, what? No, that's not my reality at all. Or anyone I know, by the way.
Right. I mean, there are some people, that do have, like, there's a few people who are like, that can do that kind of stuff. And like, maybe, and like but I know for me, holy crap, I'm exhausted. Yeah. I don't want to talk to another, let alone a guy. Like, that's what I keep thinking. I'm like, ugh. No, I just, no. It's really, and I still love him and do all the things, but it's not like, Yeah. No.
Yeah, it looks real different than those Disney movies or the romantic comedies from the 80s and all that. Yeah.
Yes, all of that stuff. So, yes, I want them to not think that that's a thing. Yeah. I'd like them to make a choice to fall in love with somebody, and to make a really strong choice to say, like, you know what, I'm willing to work on this. Yeah. Instead of, everything's going to be just peachy and fun.
And state their boundaries and talk about their disappointments, or, like you said, you were in your youth unable to say, hey, this isn't working, because you thought, well, I've got to just make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you could live anywhere in the world other than where you're living now, where would you live?
Probably Barcelona, or like the Catalonia region. All that area over there has a lot of magic that I feel like I've only visited once, but I fell in love with the entire feel of that area, and I just feel the magic, and I kind of want to discover it and just be there. I have I don't know. I just would love to live in a monastery up in those mountains somewhere, and I think
That's every mother's dream at some
right?
point.
Like,
it's like, I just want to live in a monastery where there's no talking.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And I just wear the same thing every day and just I'm quiet. I can think.
And somebody else kind of tells you what to do and you don't have to like do that. You just do all the things and then, but anyway, that's my dream. And I would love to do that. I'm still planning on, I'm like, one day.
Yeah.
I will be like an old hermit lady, like up in the monastery.
I love it. I love it. Elsie, how do you define serenity?
Oh my God. I think privacy or aloneness. Yeah. I think that's what it is. I don't even know anymore because there's so many things that I'm thinking in my head from moment to moment that I don't know what it's like to not have a slight panic attack.
24/7.
24/7.
I so relate to that.
Oh my God. I could be like super calm and just be like, oh, this is beautiful. Oh my God, I have that thing I have to do. Like, and then, so.
Totally.
Oh, it sucks.
Okay, lightning round of questions.
Okay.
Fireside or oceanside?
What does fireside mean?
Like by a fire.
Oh, by a fire. I'm like, see, I don't even know what that is. Maybe oceanside, like looking at the ocean. Yeah. Open. Yeah. I think that's what I would do.
What's your favorite junk food?
Pizza?
Oh.
Is that junk food?
Sure. It's whatever you define as junk food. I had a woman on here and she said kale chips.
No.
Yes, she did.
That's not even fair.
But for her, that's her version
That's
of
her junk food. Yeah,
you know?
I think, you know what? I think that, I guess, pizza. But still, I mean, I have that not all the time, but I just really love pizza.
Well, yeah. And when you have kids, it becomes a staple.
Oh my God, pizza's good.
It's just so easy. Do you like theme parks?
I like theme parks, but I like to leave when I'm ready to go. So, like my parents were always like because, you know, this was a huge thing. Every time it was our birthday, we would go to a theme park as a family. So that was a present.
Right.
So, but we would get up like at 7 a.m. or whatever and drive because, you know, the theme parks in LA, because that's what are like way everywhere. Yes. So you have to drive.
Yeah.
And then we would get there as soon as it opened. And we would leave as soon as it closed.
Oh my
The entire
God.
day.
That sounds like torture.
Yeah, it was torturous. But they were like, you know, they've always been like, we're going to suck this dry. Right? So like, this is what I thought it was. And so.
I love that. We're going to suck this dry.
Yeah, it was like crazy. And so anyway, so that's how I experienced theme parks. And yes, it was fantastic and fun. I just realized, and I'm only telling you this because so when we went to LA, there was podcast movement in LA. Podcast movement in LA also gave us like discounts to go to, because it was in Anaheim. So they gave us discounts to go to Disneyland. And Jess and I decided to do it. And we invited my mom and dad because they live in LA.
Oh,
so they came over. And so on one of our days, Jess and I, like my BFF, now we're like, you know, middle-aged women dragging my parents. And we're like, let's go to Disneyland. And we totally did it. It was hilarious because I was we were like the kids and with my mom and dad. Like it was so fun. But there came a point and it was so funny. I just was out. I was out of it. It was like lights out. And I was like getting ready to go. You know, I don't know where we were in the circle of going around. I was done. I was like, where's the exit? And my mom and dad and Jess, they were all commiserating together going like, I think she's done. Like, what's wrong with her? Look at her. She's like, yeah. My mom's like, she's been like that all her life. She's always done that kind of stuff. I was like, oh my God. She's seeing me as I was. And I felt like I was the 13-year-old child going like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah.
So yes,
I
do like theme. So anyway, yes, theme parks, but I have to leave when I want.
You have a limit. You know your limits.
Yes, totally.
Daytime sex or nighttime sex?
At this point, daytime, although that does not ever happen, only because
you're tired.
Who is going to stay up? Dude, I have to put an alarm clock on my phone
Oh, yeah.
because I have to wait for my kids to be asleep.
Yeah.
So I put an alarm clock on my phone to wake me up,
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
play.
Yes.
Now my hubby's calling it cookies. So all of a sudden I look at my phone and I get a cookie emoji and I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like,
the
cookies.
signal.
It's the signal. And so I'm like, he's like, cookies tonight? And I'm like, how about tomorrow night? Like I literally I need 2 days of just my mind.
Prep. You need prep. Yeah.
I need prep. I need like cookie prep.
Oh
Like
my God.
I have to be going, okay, I have to psych myself up. I mean, it's still wonderful and amazing when it happens. It's not like that's bad. It's just oh my God, I'm so excited. And then I'm tired. And then afterwards I'm all wound up. So then I'm like, yeah.
Same. But
Let's
they go to back to sleep.
Yeah.
They're like, and I'm like, well, no. Let's do something. Let's talk.
Yeah,
Let's watch
right.
a movie. Let's play a board game.
Yes.
Not play a board game, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But I'm like, ooh, wake.
Yeah.
Hey. And everybody's out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself. And therefore I'm tired for 2 days afterwards. So it's like, so my dream would be morning.
Yes.
Or an escape in the middle of the afternoon. That way I could still sleep in and sleep at night.
Yes.
But that's not our life. I mean,
no, it's
where am I going to go
that
over
too
here?
has to be scheduled.
And that has to be scheduled. Correct.
At this moment. I mean, as the kids get older, I think that will change, or when they're out of the house. But I don't know.
I don't know either.
And
I don't
I'm
even
single,
know.
so I don't even know what I'm talking about because I'm just totally single.
Yeah, but I also don't know how does this happen now? I don't even know. I don't even know what would happen. Look, so let's say there's nothing to do and it's we're just hanging out. I don't even know what to play, the game to play anymore. I don't know how to do I don't know how to be all flirtatious and stuff. Because now it's just cookies. Okay, here, naked. It's there's no.
Stop sucking on my boobs. I'm just going to keep calling back to that because I love it so much. Okay, next question. Shower or bathtub?
Shower. I'm not a bathtub girl.
Yeah. You don't have time.
Right. But also, why? I don't get it. I honestly don't. And I know there's people who really love baths and it's their thing. But I'm like, why do I want to be in this little place and hanging? I like the water on me.
Yeah.
I could stand there and have the water run on me. I think it's the feeling of the running water that makes me excited.
Yeah.
I just don't understand tubs.
Yeah.
But that's
I had a guest on the show and she said, ugh, showers. I don't want to sit in my own filth.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too.
And
I'm
never
why
thought
would
about
I
it that way
sit
before?
there?
But it's oh, it's true.
Where do I go with that? Anyway, yeah,
Okay.
I've tried.
So
Haven't
did you
figured
know
it
the
out.
phrase, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, came from in the olden days when they had to heat up the water on the stove for the bath in the kingdom in England or France or wherever. They would heat up one bath and the royalty would take the bath. The king would take the bath and then the queen, and then they would go down the hierarchy. And then the servants would get in the bath, the same bathtub of a water.
Oh my God.
And then the servant's baby would be taking a bath, and then it would be time to that's the lowest ranking, right? So servant's baby is the last person to bathe in filthy water. So you're not even really bathing, but okay. And so it was the water was so filthy. It was don't throw the baby out with the bathwater because you can't see it because it's so disgusting.
That I don't even know what to say about that. Thank you so much for that, because now I'm
But that's where that comes from. And I was
dude,
that is so horrifying.
It is horrifying. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Scale of 1 to 10. How good are you at making lasagna?
I don't know. Maybe a 5. I think I've done lasagnas maybe twice in my life.
That's awesome.
But I have not. But it's been a while, and I didn't mess it up. So that's why I'm saying a 5.
Yeah.
I'm saying a 5 because I've done it twice.
I don't know.
And
I think that deserves a solid 6.
Okay,
if
whatever.
it didn't suck and you made it and you didn't mess it up.
suck in it. I made it. I have
it's
not
hard.
done it again. I have
Okay.
not touched it. It's been years. And mind you, I'm almost 50. So twice in 50 years.
That's pretty good. That's more than most. I've never made it. And I love lasagna. It's one of my favorite
I love
things.
lasagna as well.
I want to learn how to make it.
Yeah.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh my God, I don't even know. Like, I have so many.
Just pick one.
Pet peeve? Holy crap. Well, does it have, well, it has to do, I think, with podcasting related, because that's all I really think about often. Actually, you know what? Let me just give it a little, I hate it when people ask a question and you give them a solution to the problem and then they ask the question again.
Oh God, yes.
To everybody else.
Yeah.
Until they get the answer they want.
They wanted.
Guess.
It's like, why are you even asking?
Why you? Yeah. And I just like, so yeah, that's been a theme that has run through, I think, both, in podcasting as well as in my yoga clients and things. And I see that in repetition over and over again. And it actually makes me, it actually is what made me quit teaching yoga. was that.
Interesting.
Because I was like really pissed off.
Yeah, I believe it. Superpower choice: invisibility, ability to fly, or super strength.
So I would either be invisible, but I think I already have that superpower. So I might pick flying.
Okay. Would you rather have a cat tail or cat ears?
I think ears, because they're so much cuter. And the tail, where would I put it? In my pants?
Yeah, true.
I would have to have holes and everything.
True.
And then people, no way. I will have ears because somebody will always be pulling my tail and I cannot.
Oh, yeah.
I would not be able to handle that.
You would become violent.
Be punching people. I would be violent.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. No tail.
What was the name of your first pet?
Oki.
What was the name of the street you grew up on?
Guantanamo.
So your porn name is Uki Guantanamo.
That's pretty amazing.
I think so too.
Wow, look at that.
I want to watch that.
You'd be like, I want to watch
narrative.
that. I know. I want to watch her too.
What is she conquering? What is she? I think she's a superhero.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of some kind. I know. Oh my God. She's like, she'll come in and out and you won't even know what happened to your body. You'd be like, what? Stop sucking on my boobs.
Stop sucking on my boobs. God damn it. Elsie, you're a treasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. I really hope you enjoyed my conversation with Elsie. Please remember to check out SoulKu.com and use the code MILF15. And this is Loom.com and use the code MILF20 upon checking out for your discounts. And join me next week when I have Laura McGregor on the show. Laura is the founder of HopeScarves.org, which was the Give initiative for December last month. And she's just remarkable cancer survivor, currently battling cancer again, and just an inspirational human being. I'm so lucky that I got to have her on the show. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.